Hey, friends. Good morning. Good morning. How are y'all doing this morning? We're going to give it a couple minutes before we kick things off. If you can, go ahead and jump into the chat and just post where you're calling in from. See what people filing on in. It's going to be weird. I'm like talking one way here. Come on, drop in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Bueller? There we go. Allentown. I think there's going to be a few folks from Allentown. Philly. Emmaus. Yo, Dan, good to see you here, man. Houston. Yo, JP, thanks for joining, brother. That means a lot. Appreciate you. I know it's early for a lot of you folks. Effort, PA. I think we're going to get a lot of Pennsylvania folks. Thank you for being here so early on a holiday, no less. America's 250th birthday. How about that? How about that? Best state in the union. Who else? We're going to give it a couple more minutes here before we start to Saylorsburg. Yo, what's up, TJ? Chris, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. It means a whole lot. I know to the prize team, it means a whole lot. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone into this this launch today. So Manny, thanks for being here, my friend. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, King of Prussia. Sean. So it looks like we actually have a few folks that were on the podcast joining in, which is really, really cool. Sean and Mark being a couple of those, TJ. So if you get a chance and you haven't checked it out before, we have our podcast on the Prize channel. Don't do it right now, of course. You know, we're going to hang out for a little bit here. KC, what's up, Jake? All right, I'll give it another couple minutes here, and then we'll jump on in. Kansas City. Is anyone doing anything fun for the 4th of July holiday here? Anyone going to the beach? Barbecue? I know I'm going to the beach right after this, so I'm excited to go get a little bit of a tan. Bethlehem. Yeah, Jenny. Oh, that's right. You're up in Boston right now, Dan. That's awesome. Yeah, hopefully you're enjoying it up there. I bet the fireworks up there are going to be awesome. At a lake, yeah. World Cup, watching some football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. We're in America. We're going to call it soccer. Give it about one more minute. Let some folks filter in. We got 22 people. So first off, you know, like I said, thank you all for being here. It really does mean a whole lot. Like I said, the team has put in a lot of work for what we're about to show the world here. There has been a lot of flexibility, a lot of being resourceful, a lot of late nights, and I am really excited for what we're about to show you. I also want to give a shout out here to Ben Franklin Tech Ventures for, you know, letting us use the office, for, you know, doing this live, and then also for the podcasts. They've the podcast spaces up top have been really, really great. Also, I want to encourage you to be, you know, as interactive with this as possible. This is I'm not just doing this for me or the team or anything. I mean, we really put a lot of work into this because we want to deliver something impactful to this community that we care a lot about. And you're a part of that, right? Everything that we have built up to this point has been directly because of the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of you. So I thank you. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I also want to go ahead and preface this. This is the first time I've ever done a live. So if I screw anything up, please bear with me. It's the first time I've ever done with like an OBS or any sort of broadcasting system. So we're going to learn together. Even though I did practice, we'll see what happens. So I guess without further ado, let me go ahead and kick things off. Sorry, I have two screens here, which is why I'm looking up and down. So first off, whoop, that's kind of the first boo-boo here. Let's go ahead and present, shall we? Oh, that's fun. Okay. Well, I told you we were going to have some technical difficulties, so give me just 1 second right here. And Where are we at? Where are we at? Well, one of the things that I did here was I used our buddy Claude to create a presentation, and it is not necessarily working exactly the way I would like. So that's cool. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, that's Google Drive. We don't want that. Let's see if that works now. There we go. All right. Hey, just a little bit of technical difficulties. How about it? All right. So first off, presenting to you Prize, right? We've been around for a couple years now. We've gone through a few iterations. As a lot of you may know, we launched our initial MVP on November, and we've gotten to about 100 veterans on the platform, which we're really, really proud of. And we got a ton of feedback, which is honestly what it was all about. We wanted to get it out there in front of some people and hear what was good, honestly, what sucked, and make it better. So that's the whole point of this. So to kick things off, who am I, right? Who the hell is PJ? So I was in the Marine Corps for about 10 years. I flew F-18s, and it was, a dream that I had since I was about 5 years old. I did get to realize that dream, and unfortunately, it was cut a little short due to a medical issue. But I wound up going to Meta as a software engineer. For that, I was at Meta for about 7 years, and then made my way over to being a CEO of Prize, which was a company we started a few years ago. And while on paper, I'm freezing up now. Well, that's fun. Let's do this. How about meow? Any better? You let me know. Keep saying in the chat what's happening, and I'll see if I can adjust as is. But yeah, so this on paper looks like the ideal journey of a veteran getting out of the military, right? I went to Meta, some big company, and then started my own company, and here we are, just having an absolute amazing time. But I want to drill in a little bit on this because it wasn't quite so pretty. When I got out of the Marine Corps, it was due to a medical issue that I did not plan on. Of course, who does? And it wound up being quite a shatter to it shattered my ego, right? Like I came in, to the Marine Corps was something I wanted to do since I was 5 years old. And when I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, that was all of a sudden done. I could no longer, do that. My dream was now gone. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. And what is not illustrated in this sequence of pictures are like me breaking down on my kitchen floor because of a silly thought of my son would never know me, as a military aviator, which is what I dreamed my whole life of doing, right? It doesn't illustrate the, hooking and jabbing as I was trying to figure out how to go to school and have a family after the military and have a job and try to redefine myself. It doesn't illustrate my identity that was gone, that I had worked so hard to build and was issued to me while in the Marine Corps and having to navigate that afterwards. And some of this may sound familiar to you folks that were in the military and got out, and some of it may not. We've all had different journeys here. But while a lot of us on paper may eventually find our way and it may look like, oh, this person, kicked ass, that's not always how it plays out, right? We only see the highlights. We only see the wave tops. So why do I tell you this? One, because I want to illustrate that I've been in the shoes of a person transitioning out, right? And can anyone tell me how many people transition out of the military every year? Does anyone know? No one? I'll wait. No one. Okay. There's 200,000 people that transition out of the military every year. And that's just active duty, right? That doesn't include the National Guard or reserves. Does anyone know how many organizations, like nonprofit organizations there are that serve veterans. I don't know if it froze me or not, but I'm not getting any more chat, so I'll just go ahead and say it. There's 45,000. There's 45,000 nonprofits in the United States that are geared towards helping veterans and their families. So the reason that we started Prize was because we saw these numbers, right? 200,000 people getting out of the military every year, 45,000 organizations, and then the number that's like really scary, right? And that's that 6,500 suicides a year. And when we looked at that number here at Prize, it blew our mind that there's 45,000 organizations, yet we're still seeing 6,500 suicides a year. And really that math, it doesn't math, right? It didn't make any sense. So when we sat down to figure out like, hey, what are we going to create here? How can we help affect this problem or help affect a change to this problem? We heard two things over and over again, right? Those two things being one, that there's a ton of organizations that are challenging to navigate. And then two, that there's this loss of identity and purpose upon getting out. So we sat down and we're like, okay, well, how do we solve that? And our first iteration was really geared towards just the first problem of how do we navigate these 45,000 organizations that are out there to help. I know for myself personally, I used VRNE, which is a benefit of the VA, of which there's a lot of those. And honestly, it was absolutely amazing, right? It was a total cheat code. So if any of you have VRNE and haven't used it and might need something to help you navigate your career or finding a career or building a skill set out of the military, that's a cheat code. I highly recommend it. And honestly, it helped me along my way. The other thing that was a huge help to me personally was a community, or like the communities that I got to be a part of, right? A lot of you that I've met are through different communities, and you've helped pull me up. You've helped me become a better person. I can name, Gathering the Kings, Chaz being here has been a huge help as I've become an entrepreneur. There's been like meetups and free code camp, honestly, was a huge help when I first got out as well. There's the Vets in Tech out of Philly, which have been incredibly helpful. And all of these have really helped me navigate my own journey. So I wanted to illustrate, that there's a ton of help out there, right? So what did we build Prize to work on, right? And at this point, it's all about that one clear next step. Because when we're in the military, we're given everything, right? We have our most basic human need met in spades. We know where to be, what to say, when to be there, how to stand, how to tie our shoes, right? Isn't that crazy? So our most basic human need of certainty is just met at a very high level. And when we get out of the military, it's gone overnight. So a lot of the times, just knowing what that one clear next step is really challenging. And so that's the premise of what we're building here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can kick off now, like actually giving, here, let's see if this will work. Someone cue the music. I promise you, I practiced this ahead of time. Let's see if this will look better. One second. Boom. How about that? All right. Yeah. Got your master's through VRNE. I'll tell you what, like it really is a total cheat code. If anyone has not used it or doesn't know about it, please look into it. I know it's very counselor dependent as to like how good it is, but it really is amazing. And a lot of people on the podcast have brought it up with just how amazing it is as well. So thank you, Cole. I really appreciate that, man. So this is our new app, right? We worked really hard. It is very different from the old application that we had. You can download this right now. It is live. It rolled out this morning, which I'm super excited about. And you can find the link in the description for this. And I'll put up a QR code a little bit here after I give a little bit of a demonstration. And you can download it yourself and give it a shot. So I'm going to walk through it, and I'm going to show you what we built and how we were thinking about it. And then I'm going to turn it over to any sort of questions or feedback that you all may have, okay? So this first screen, yeah, it's all about like the clarity. And I think that that's one of the things that is really, really challenging upon getting out is that clarity, right? What is that next step? So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to go through a little bit of an onboarding, but then obviously I have a test organization and a test platform built out here so you all can see what it looks like. But as we start off, right, I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. I just want to get you to the next step as quickly as possible. So these first questions are really, really geared towards where am I right now? What can I handle? Can I handle a lot? Can I handle a big dream? Or can I handle, honestly, just like this next thing? That's all I've got. So where am I? I'm going to go ahead and say for myself, I'm pretty steady. So I'll gear this towards myself, right? And is there anything urgent right now, right? Do I need housing? Do I need food? Do I need anything that, like handled today? Is it financial? What are my concerns, right? I'm gonna show you that for a second, actually, because these are dynamic. So if I hit the first one, yes, I need help something right now, and I go next, you can see it's very geared towards that. What do I need handled immediately? Do I need a place to stay? Do I need safety? Right? What do I need to do immediately in order to get this handled? So alternatively, let's just say, I'm okay. I actually feel good. I'm just trying to build out my plan for life. That's what I want to do. So where do I see myself a year from now? What would it look like to be, have a perfect transition? Would it be, work that I'm happy about, that I'm excited about? Would it be a place of my own? Do I want to buy a house somewhere? There's lots of things available for that. Feeling like myself again, I know that one is something that's a little insidious that a lot of us fight and we don't even think about so much, right? We get out and we think we're just going to replace our job, right? I want to go get a job somewhere, make $100,000 a year. But what we don't really consider is that we can't replace a job, or we can't replace a way of being with a job. And that's something that I think is a bit overlooked at first, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say, a place of my own. That's something maybe I'm working on right now. And if I hit continue, now I'm going to mirror this back to you. So what I'm hearing is that you would like a place of your own. Did I get that right? And from there, that's when we would go ahead and log in. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and back out and go to sign in, which is down here at the bottom. Oh, come on. You can do it. All right, you know what? I'm going to turn off the internet because this was biting me earlier for this exact reason. So just so you know, we did build in a lot of safeguards. One of the things that I learned at Meta was obviously making things a bit more cyber secure and robust. And one of the things that can be a challenge is from a certain IP address, if you try to log in more than 6 times an hour, it's going to go ahead and block you like you just saw there. And of course, the internet here is not great. Ah, you're killing me. Well, that's fun. Murphy, anyone? Well, if this doesn't work for whatever reason, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the designs because that'll be the next best thing that I can do. Let me try. I don't want to sign in with Google because that will log me into my personal account. Actually, you know what? I am going to log in with Google. Yeah, Chris, I totally agree, man. It's just the demo gods. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's do a live demo on TV and see what happens. I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi back on because the Wi-Fi here is actually pretty good. Oh, no. Yeah, you're right, man. It is the demo gods. Okay. All All right. Well, I'll work on that. That's clearly something I'm going to have to fix. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our demo on the, let's see here. Please bear with me. I appreciate all of y'all's patience. Let's go ahead and bring it up over yonder. I appreciate y'all being so encouraging. It means a lot. All right, let's see if this does it. Let's go here. Okay. How about that? How about that? We'll go to sign in. We'll say sign in with Google. And of course, it's in dark mode. Actually, let's put it in dark mode, shall we? So one of the first things that we do here is we want to find that direction, right? So this is what we talked about. Oof. Man, you got to love this, huh? Who am I logged in as? Come on, you can do it. All right. Hey, you know what? We can actually go back to the app because now all of a sudden it wants to work. How about that? Hey, we're back. All right, cool. So we went with a passwordless login, right? And the passwordless login is a bit more robust and safe these days. So honestly, all you do is you put in an email. You should be able to log in with Google and Apple. I will double check that tonight. Might just be that my servers are scaling at this point. But I'll go ahead and punch in my code that was sent over to this email. And then we're brought into my flow, right? So at this point, we can say, hey, this person was looking to find work that they're good at, right? So I went through the flow. This was something that I filled out based on that first 3 questions. And the whole idea here is like, we're giving you that one next step. So something that I want to point out here, this is like the prize screen, the cockpit, if you will, that we'll call it, the dashboard. And we have a few other things on the bottom. One of the ones I want to point out here is your journey. So the journey here is based on what you chose, right? I wanted to, in fact, let's go ahead and see the whole climb here. I wanted to find work that fits. That's what's at the top, right? This is my vision. This is what I want to build. This is what I want out of life. And based on how you answer the questions at the beginning, we may provide one thing, just one thing to focus on. We may provide multiple or allow multiple, just so that way we're not overwhelming a person. And the idea is like we want you to really focus as best as possible, and provide resources in order to accomplish those things. So if I wanted to click on my vision, oh yeah, I said I want to make a stable home base, and this image here is a little dynamic. So as we start to actually accomplish things, this image becomes more and more clear. One of the things that we will be doing in the future is actually creating a legitimate like image based on what you give us. And that's the beauty of AI these days, right? Is I can actually generate these images. And that's one of the things we want to do, because we really want you to become clear on what you want out of life, right? Because if we can be super clear on it, we can then work backwards to accomplish what we want. So the whole idea, like if I were to peel the whole onion back on what we're building, is it's one about figuring out where you are, 2, figuring out where you want to go, and then building a map for you to get there. And that's the whole premise that this thing's built on. So if I go back to my journey map here, and I have my next step, right? It's asking me how it went. So we'll go ahead and fill this out because this was something I did earlier. We'll just say it didn't work out, not now, actually. Yeah. So one of the things that this does is it provides you with organizations that will help you accomplish this goal. And we'll just say, yeah, I worked with them. We'll give them a high rating because they did a great job. So one of the things we're also doing here is ratings and reviews for a lot of these organizations because this is something that goes a little, um, let's say, unseen. Is we do have things like Trustpilot, we do have things like Yelp and Google reviews, but we want to provide an ecosystem here where it's all in one. You work with an organization. I can verify whether or not I actually worked with them and then provide that feedback. So it makes it really, really useful for veterans. And what we have on the backside is we have a scoring algorithm that helps us promote organizations to that have done a really amazing job to get more feedback, right? And not more feedback, but more to help out more. Because on the back end, and what you're not seeing here is that an organization has a whole dashboard in the back. And what they're able to do then is see exactly how well they're doing. And we provide a lot of nudges to them in order to get better. That's a big part of our ethos is how do we help collaborate so we can help you improve? So we want to be able to surface these things. And we're borrowing a lot of ideas here for things from like Airbnb, for instance, in order to, like, let's say you have a diamond host, right? Well, let's say we have a diamond organization that just provides an amazing service. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that here in a sec. So we'll say we went ahead and saved that, and we're going to see what's next. We want to go ahead and sharpen that vision. What does it actually mean now in order to find that job that fits here, right? So maybe I want to do something that I'm genuinely good at. And my next step, I don't know. Let's say believing I'd actually get hired. Ooh, that's an interesting one. So let me reflect this back to you. So you're saying that getting someone in your corner who believes first could be really valuable. Okay, well, what does that actually mean? We're going to put that on our path, and let's see who can help. We're going to pull up some organizations. Now, these are demo organizations, right? And these are static, so they're not going to actually change because I'm doing this obviously for the presentation. But on the live version, what this will do is it will now find organizations, because we have about 5,000 organizations in our database right now that can help with this particular thing. So in this particular case, let's say building my confidence, right? Because of what it says up top. One of the organizations that might be able to help here is like ACP. Maybe I'll get a mentor to be able to help out here, right? So one of the things that I'm now going to say is, well, you know what? I want to connect with these guys. So I'm going to hit connect. All right, now who here has ever gone to an organization to help out? And one of the things you have to do is you have to fill out some paperwork. You ever done that before? Anyone? I know I have. And it's 2026. And a lot of things that we may see is even though they mean well, we can go to 3 different organizations and fill the same paperwork out 3 different times. And then a lot of times it's actually on paper and it goes in a filing cabinet somewhere. We can do better than this. And that's the intention here. So one of the things that we have in the application is the idea of a data wallet. And it's all progressive disclosure. What I mean by that is organizations can request certain information from you. And we, just like Google, you can see here, if I log in with Google, it'll say, hey, do you want to share your first name and your birthday? And you say, yeah, sure, log me in, share those things. That's all we're doing here. We're saying, hey, do you want to connect? The organization needs your first name, your email, and your phone, which are like the basic 3 things that we're going to ask for, just so they can contact you. If you agree with that, we would hit share and connect, and it'll send it over to them, and then they can decide to accept it or not. Now, what happens if I go to an organization and they need something else? Like maybe they need your service history. Well, what we also have here, and this particular profile is already verified, is the ability now to also pull in your service history and store that in the application as well. Right now, we have the ability to go ahead and scan in your DD-214, and it can pull the information from there. So you can be verified as a veteran, and it can hold everything that you care about within the profile. And now when the organization requests things from you, it's just like share and connect, and they can have everything they need. And the cool thing is that we can handle the data safety part. We can handle the data compliance, so the organization doesn't have to. They can focus on what they're good at and getting you the help that you need. They can also use that information to verify, benefits and other services that you might be eligible for. So that's the whole premise here. They can make, add more or less to the list. And if you haven't filled it out yet, we just ask you for it on this screen. And the cool thing there is now you have it in your data wallet. So now if you go to another organization that requires that same thing, you already have it. That's the whole idea here. We don't want to bombard you with a big onboarding process. We don't want to bombard you with filling out a million different things up front. We want to get you in to get you to value as quickly as possible. And then we're just going to ask you based on what you need, based on where you are. So we'll go ahead and say share and connect with these guys. I've actually already connected with these. This is, again, a demo. So what that will kick off is the messages. So within the platform, we have the ability to message an organization, right? So after we've connected with them and they've accepted the connection, you can now communicate with them. So what does that actually look like? So in here, and like I said, this is a demo. So I can go into here and I can say, hey, I need help. Sorry, my phone is right here. With, I don't know, finding a job. And yes, I get it. It's Housing Alliance, but work with me here. And if I send that over, I'm going to get a response back from them whenever they respond. Obviously, this is real time. And obviously, that's probably not the example that they would say back, but you get the idea, right? They can message you back. Now you can have this conversation. Everything is encrypted. Your conversation will not be shared with anyone else. It's also important to note that that onboarding and the things that you shared as far as your journey goes is safe in the platform. We do not share it with organizations unless you explicitly want to. So everything is encrypted on the back end. All of your information is safe and secure back there. A lot of those things, again, that I learned at Meta were brought forward here for best practices. And we will not share or leak that information in any way possible or in any way. We do have the ability, say the organization isn't necessarily doing, providing you the services they want, you can always report them. We can always mute them or block them as necessary. You can revoke your information, your connection as needed, and they will no longer have that. But this allows them, again, to keep everything all in one platform. They don't have to worry about emails and phone numbers so much anymore. It's all right here. And if you're waiting for a response, this is something that you may see if you use the platform today, just for instance, because we only have, just being upfront, we have 3 organizations that have claimed their profile. So this is important, right? We do have 5,000 organizations in the database, but we have followed a bit of a Yelp model. And that means that we have a bunch of organizations there already, but they may not be onboarded to the platform. So one of the biggest asks that I can put your way is if you have an organization that you know, please make the introduction, because we would love to have them on here so that way we can serve you better. Because if they're on here, they can respond faster. And that's the idea. But if they're not currently on the platform, one of the things you'll see is this, right? And I should just be able to click on the website and it'll take me out to the website or email, so on and so forth, because we want to make it as easy as possible. This is important. If at any point you need help, help is one click away. And what I mean by that is if you are in a crisis at any point, we put it up here so it's very easily available. Dial 988. Please do not wait at any point to get help. And that's the idea here. We will also, and not currently, but we will also have sentiment analysis in the chat. So that way we can sense if someone is, experiencing some trauma that we need to get them over to 988. And that's something that we try to make as simple as possible. And that's just based on our credo. It may not be for everyone, and that's okay, but it is always there in case you do need it. All right, I have just 1 or 2 other things I want to show you in profile here. We try to make this as useful as possible. You can always enter in your own information, DD214, my military information right here. It's all at a glance. If I need to, go ahead and scan my DD214 again, I can. I can always flag a field if it's not correct, and you'll have someone on our side actually go and review it. And Other than that, the other thing I really want to point out here is privacy and data. We do take this very, very seriously, and I want to emphasize like very seriously. We don't want to share anyone's information, and we never will. You know, if we do for like product analytics and that sort of thing, that's only to make us better internally. But we will de-identify everything. And then another thing, you know, we have here, as you can see, like veteran outcomes research. We will always, always de-identify and anonymize data in order to just make these services better. But we will never, ever share your information unless you explicitly allow it. I won't beat that dead horse anymore. Other thing I want to show in here is this, the send feedback. As I mentioned, and I'm going to probably say 5 more times, feedback is the most important thing that you can help us with. We want you to get in here. We want you to find, you know, the bug. There's going to be bugs. I'll just be real with you. Like this is a brand new thing that we just put out. We have a small team, and bugs happen. That's part of this, right? As you saw on the call, right? So there's going to be bugs, and if you experience any, please let us know. You can either send it to us right here. You can type, and this sends it to us right in the back end immediately, like that. Another thing that you can do is email us at prize@prizeapp.io. Try saying that 3 times fast. Or you can post on our Facebook page. You can reach out to me directly if you have my contact information. But feedback is incredibly important, and I can't emphasize that enough. This, okay, in general, is the application. I'm not going to go into much more depth. You know, I want you to play with it. I actually want you to discover, you know, what else there is. I'm just going to go ahead now and kind of open it up. Not kind of. I am going to open it up now for some questions and Q&A. Let me turn this back over to my fun little slide deck. Oh, man. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, we do have, you know, the QR codes on the bottom in order to download the application. So if you wanted to go ahead and do that, you can do so right there. So go ahead and scan it as necessary. Actually, let me go back here. So there are 3 ways that you can help. As mentioned, one is to download the application. I want you to do that. Please tell all your friends. The first 250 of you will get one of these sweet prize hats made specifically for this occasion. So please sign up. I'm going to send you one of these if you do. And also, you know, like I said, like tell us what you think. So you can, let's see, is there an option to change paths if something doesn't work out? Yes, there is. There absolutely is. So if it doesn't, it's not the path that you want to work on anymore, and you want to go ahead and change the summit, as we're calling it, you can absolutely do that. The other thing that you can do is, like, let's just say one of the milestones or the actions that are, I guess the waypoints, as I'm calling them over the map, doesn't work out the way you want it. You can always select one that's locked and just make that the active one. Is this only for vets or other people who need help? Right now, it is only for veterans. We are focusing very specifically on transitions or life transitions, because this is a period of life where it can make or break you, and it also allows you to dig in and or reflect, I should say, and redefine yourself. And while a transition isn't just one point in time, I think, JP, thank you. You were actually one of the ones that initially introduced that thought to me. So that is something that we realize never really ends. So we want you to get in here and use it regardless if you're transitioning veteran. Now, I also want to point out that on the roadmap, we have other populations that we are going to be diving into, right? We have those getting out of jail, which actually, and I hate to say it for veterans who are watching, is a very similar problem set to veterans. And so we really want to help out that population as well. That'll be the next one that we dive into. And there's also, athletes that are retiring, retirees, people. Hey, Angie, speaking of VRNE, she was the one that helped me out. You're a godsend. Thank you. But, we want to be able to help people eventually through all walks of life when it comes to transition. Right now, we're very geared towards veterans because it's something that's near and dear to our heart, and it's a population that we obviously know needs the help. But stay tuned. We will absolutely branch out to more. Lastly, the other thing, if you know any organizations that serve veterans, that could be on this platform to help us serve you better, please introduce us. So that chat function will become more and more active the more orgs we have on the platform. And I can talk to that at another time. I'll probably go live at some other point to talk to orgs specifically. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be something that comes out here later. Yeah, so I'll open it up to any more questions or feedback that you may have. I really appreciate the well wishes. Yo, what's up, Phil? So are there any questions that I can answer that have come up at this point? Or does anyone have any feedback that's like, hey, yo, that's like way off? Or hey, this would be great if you introduced XYZ feature. Does anyone have anything? I don't know if there's a lag or what, but if there's not any questions, here, oh, that was weird. Go up to slow pacing. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions or feedback. If you do have anything at all, anything, seriously, nothing is off limits. You're having trouble making an account using the Android app. I'm also using Android, so that's good feedback. Not sure if I missed this, but what are the options for disabled veterans and the need for accommodations and active career? Yeah, so great question on this. One of the things that we have made very specific in the design here is we will not provide services, right? That's not our job. Our job is to help you get to the right service. And with that said, that's a big reason for like why we need more organizations on the platform. So when with your specific question, for need of accommodations, that'll be something on the organization specifically to provide, and we'll just walk you in through the door. That's the idea. Will there be an option to post jobs for the organizations we work for? Potentially in the future. We're not there yet, but that is something that's come up multiple times. So we will look to entertain that. But I would anticipate that'll be something that'll roll out here in a little bit. So stay tuned. I can't sign up. All right, so that seems to be a common thing. I am going to look into that directly after I get off of this. I appreciate you calling that out. Thank you. If you find more of that, please let me know. Prize app. And you can also go to prize.vet and submit things there as well. So please, like, let me know those sorts of things. I appreciate. Useful for current serving National Guardsmen transitioning from deployment or separation. Great question. So, and Crystal, you're actually the one that introduced me to a lot of this through the podcast. So thank you for this. The answer is yes. There is no like, you have to be at any specific point in time. The National Guardsman is a very, very interesting thing, right? Because y'all are like transitioning always, like you're in your transitioning. So that's a great question. Thank you for calling that out. I will look into that as soon as we get off the call. Is Prize basically bridging the gap? Yes. The idea is, one, what's your next step? How do I navigate? Two, how do I figure out what you need? And then three, walking you through the door of the organization. That is the goal. And then let's see. Yes, love to hear about Get My Org on the app. Jenny, I will follow up with you after this, so don't you worry. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. I will definitely look into it. And then transitioning every 28 days. Yeah, no freaking joke. You're going back to work all the time. Let's see. What if you're transition service member and they don't have a DD-214 yet? Great question. So for this one, we have a self-attestation. Like, yes, we are a veteran. You can say that. The only caveat at the moment is that won't allow you to connect at this very moment. I would look for the next iteration. And when I say the next iteration, an update literally probably next week that will allow you to, if you are in active duty, be able to plug in your military, your @mil address, and use that for verification, and that will be able to verify your service that way. We will also, in the next week or so, we're currently working with the VA on this, in order to provide the VA Lighthouse, so you'll be able to use ID Me or va.gov logins in order to also verify. And actually, that will be the preferred way instead of a DD-214 in order to verify. So good question, Cole. I really appreciate that. And honestly, thank you for your support, brother. I really do appreciate everything you've done. Is this free for vets? Yeah, 100%. Free for veterans for life. No trial period or anything. So that we wanted to make this as approachable as possible. It will never, ever cost a veteran a dime. All right, anything else? I really do appreciate you calling out that the login isn't working. I'm going to look into that immediately afterwards. My guess is that it's being rate limited at the moment. So I will look into that immediately. All right. I want to just take a minute and acknowledge the people who have helped like us get here. This is just the prize team right here. I say just the prize team. These individuals have been such an incredible help to us getting where we are. And a lot of these guys have been by my side for way beyond prize, but I really do appreciate all that you have done. Like Jeff, he's in the background messaging me right now, letting me know that like how things are going. I appreciate you, brother. Ryan, I actually served with Ryan. He's on the podcast too, so I would go and actually check out his episode. It was fantastic, actually. He is currently, he was JPL, was over at Stanford there for a bit. Really just probably the smartest dude I've ever met in my life, but he has been an incredible help. Nick is our lead engineer. Like that dude is absolutely amazing. I can't even begin to describe how amazing he is, like in what he has done to get us where we are. Absolutely busted his ass, and continues to do so, and is probably one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. Mike, Cal, serving as advisors right now, which has been, absolutely amazing. And then honestly, all of you, like everyone that's here, I know we have 32 people on the call, your support has been immense. The feedback has been incredible. Andrew, like your Vets in Tech has been awesome. The support, like Mark and TJ, Chris, like all of y'all on the call, Jenny, like you have been so amazing in providing the support that we need to get where we are. And honestly, we couldn't have done it without you. Honestly, I even want to thank the people that have bashed us on the first MVP that we rolled out, because even though like it hurt, to see the comments, it was so good because you highlighted things that we needed to fix. So that sort of thing is totally welcome. You will not hurt our feelings. I'm a Marine, I think I mentioned. So, please let us know what needs to be improved. If you have ideas for us, we will be 100% open to that. If you find any bugs, let us know. And if you just want to call and tell me, what a piece of trash it is, that's fine too. I'll even listen to you for there. That's all I have at this time. I appreciate you all. I hope you all enjoy the 4th of July. I hope you enjoy the fireworks. Please stay safe. Please don't drink too much. And I hope you have incredible time with your family. I'm going to go to the beach, like literally right after this. With that, I appreciate you all being here. If you sign up, remember, 250, Founding 250, you get one of these sweet hats. Some of you may already have one anyway. Anyhow, see you, fam. Thank you so much. Happy 250th America's birthday. And we will see you on the flip side.